Today we shall learn about Section 9(3) of CGST Act 2017. Basically, Section 9(3) deals with reverse charge. First of all, we are required to know what is charge. Charge is nothing but tax. It's an indirect tax which requires to pay by the supplier, but the tax is collected from the recipient. Obviously, we know that in case of indirect taxation, right? In case of indirect taxation, the levy is on a different person but collection from another person. It means if I am the supplier, right, it is my liability to pay GST to the government, but all at the same time I am not paying this money from my pocket, right? I'm going to collect this from the recipient or customer from whom to whom I'm selling my product. That is the concept of basically indirect taxation. So in case of reverse charge, I'm not even if I'm supplier, but in case of reverse charge I'm not required to pay the tax, right? The recipient, the customer who is receiving the goods or services, such person required to pay the tax to the government, right? It means the burden is shifted to recipient in case of reverse charge, right? So we are going to learn Section 9(3) that is deals with reverse charge, few cases, few goods over which the recipient is required to pay the tax, right, GST, whereas and not the supplier, right? So let's talk about reverse charge, right? Goods over which reverse charge is applicable. The first one is lottery ticket. Lottery, it means if central government selling lottery to the distributor, then such distributor, that is distributor agent, required to pay the tax, right? Second case, cashew nuts, right, not peeled, not shelled. It means raw cashew nut, right, sold by the agriculturist to the any registered person, then such registered person is liable to pay the tax and not the agriculturist. The third one, supply of raw cotton by the agriculturist to the registered person. In that case, such registered person is required to pay the tax and not the agriculturist. The fourth one, tendy leaves or tobacco leaves, right? Tobacco leaves, it means the leaves with tobacco leaves is a leaf with which make a tobacco, right? So agriculturist selling or supply tobacco leaves to the registered person, then such registered person is liable to pay GST and not the agriculturist, right? The fifth one, priority sector lending certificate, right? It means what do you mean by that? First of all, many banks, right, in banks in India, right, required to lend few a part of their money for priority sector, right? RBI has notified some priority sector where banks compulsory required to pay a certain amount of tax to that sectors as well. If any banks not able to comply with that requirement, it means they have not make this sufficient loan which is required by the law, then they can buy the lending certificate, priority sector lending certificate from another bank who made the loan to that sector in excess of the required criteria, right? So in that case, such the banks which is buying this certificate required to pay the tax, right, GST, obviously. Another one, selling of vehicle, right, and used vehicle sell by the government in auction. What happened in many cases where vehicle are confiscated by the government or seized by the government, but the real owner is not able to release that vehicles, right? In that case, such vehicles, such used good, government used to sell on auction or other ways, right? In that case, person who is buying it, obviously he is a registered person, required to be registered. Then such registered person is required to pay the GST and not the government, right? So these are the cases where GST is levied, right? GST is levied on the recipient and not the supplier. So that's it for today. We'll meet tomorrow or with some another topic. So that's it for today, and that's it.